Kim Jong Nam, the half-brother of North Korean leader Kim Jong Un, was killed in plain sight last year at Kuala Lumpur's International Airport. Today, Malaysian prosecutors wrapped their closing arguments in the trial of the two women accused of the murder. The women's lawyers argue that they were tricked into the act by North Koreans. But the North Koreans have a lawyer of their own.
Attorney Jagjit Singh insists that he's a very boring man. He only spends time in 4 places: his home, his office, a courtroom, and his temple. Even if his routine sounds run-of-the-mill, his clients are anything but. They include some of the most notorious criminals in modern Malaysian history. Last year, after Kim Jong Nam was assassinated, Singh got a call from the North Korean embassy. They needed a lawyer.
But one thing I told them, if you're coming to me, I go straight. This is exactly what I told them. I go straight. I don't do anything under the table.
And how did they reply to that?
They were very happy. They said exactly what we want.
As investigation progressed,
The Malaysian police initially named 8 persons of interest, all from North Korea. 4 suspects had fled the country immediately after the crime for Pyongyang.
And we would request the North Korean authorities to assist us in tracing them and hand them over to us.
Police did detain Ri Jong-chol. So the guy that was detained for 14 days, you got him sent back. How did you do that?
Upon expiry of 14 days, the police have either to charge him in court or to release him.
And they released him?
So I was able to persuade them that there was no evidence in which event he has to be released. And if he has to be released, we pack him back.
The police wanted to question the remaining 3, but they hid out in the North Korean embassy in Kuala Lumpur and became pawns in a diplomatic game between Pyongyang and one of its allies.
I'm saying it again that the Korean authorities are not cooperating with us.
Malaysia expelled the North Korean ambassador. North Korea, in turn, barred the only 9 Malaysians in the country from leaving, essentially holding them hostage. Eventually, a deal was struck, and the last 3 North Koreans named by the police were allowed to go home. So there's no representative from North Korea who is on trial?
Nothing.
Do you think North Korea had any involvement with this case at all?
From what I've seen so far, no.
None at all?
Not at all.
In this case, where the estranged brother who'd been critical of the North Korean leader is murdered in broad daylight.
Yes.
And there is evidence that there were North Koreans there who were linked to the government. And you still believe that they weren't involved?
Look, as far as the 4 persons who were there involved, I can't say anything because I do not know them. I've never met them. They were here, they left, fair enough.
With all the North Korean suspects out of the country, prosecutors set their sights on the 2 women who approached Kim at the airport that day. Siti Aisyah from Indonesia and Duan Thi Hung from Vietnam. CCTV footage shows Duan, who's wearing a shirt with LOL in big letters, smear something on Kim's face shortly before he died. Prosecutors say that Siti was filmed running away from the scene, and traces of the nerve agent that killed Kim were later found on her clothes. Duan's lawyer, Tepo Tek, insists she was tricked by a North Korean man posing as a Japanese prank show recruiter who called himself Mr. Y.
Yes, Mr. Y is looking for actresses who are keen in making short video clips and all.
And did he promise her money for the video clips, for the pranks?
Yes.
Tae argues that some of the suspects who were released were actually North Korean operatives who duped his client. He says they flew her all over Southeast Asia to perform multiple pranks, offering her more money per prank than she ever made in a day. So they'd conditioned her to do this prank and believe that it was completely legitimate as part of a TV show.
In fact, before the 13th, she in fact cut her hair, put makeup on the early morning of 13th of February 2017 because she wanted to look beautiful.
The Indonesian embassy hired attorney Gui Soon Singh to defend the other woman, Siti, who claimed she was tricked in the same way. Why do you think the prosecution are pushing to charge these 2 women?
Well, I suppose the murder have taken place and they are eager to close the matter and put the whole subject at rest and by simply charging the girl and see what happened. The defense has been compromised.
Gui blames the Malaysian authorities for releasing the North Korean suspects who could have validated the women's stories.
What the Malaysian government ought to have done is to impress upon the North Korean government their responsibility to allow these 4 people to come to Malaysia to testify.
And what's the likelihood of that happening?
I think it's 0.
As for who's really responsible, Singh points to Kim's suspicious behaviour that day.
If you really look at the personality involved, the person who died, he was carrying a lot of cash. He was having a thumb drive, and he met some personalities in Langkawi. So
What personalities?
we believed to be from America, agents from CIA. So if you're going to get involved in that kind of clandestine meetings with this type of people, then you're leading a life that is very dangerous.
What's the best outcome for you at the end of all of this?
Frankly, as far as I'm concerned, I only hope that the two ladies succeed in their case, they're acquitted. But if they're convicted, then that's the whole criminal process all about.